Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Would you like even more content? Here's my Patreon. Now onto the stories. Case file number 1050, written by Infamous Benefit 7825. The unsettling story of how I predicted two tragic events. I was just reminded of this, and actually freaked my wife out last week, and it's the second time this has happened to me. I have at least twice now seen news articles about major disasters the day before it happened. The first one being a flight MH17. I saw an article that the flight had gone down, then mentioned it to a coworker. The next day it actually happened. It honestly didn't freak him out. It reinforced his conspiracy beliefs that the government plans and executes disasters. As far as I'm aware, the second time this has happened was with the second Norfolk Southern train derailment in Ohio. The day before it happened, I told my wife, "Oh my god, another one derailed in Ohio." Then the next day it actually did happen, and now my wife is freaked out. I'm leaning towards glitch. Both sites I saw the articles on were reputable sources. I could believe the government caused these things to happen for one reason or another, but having prepared news posts for the event and preventing any journalist or government employees from blowing the whistle, I don't think that's possible. Case notes for file 1050. The unsettling story of how I predicted two tragic events. So, government planned events is quite a deep rabbit hole to go down. There's so many theories, the Twin Towers and the moon landing. We live in a firmament, the whole world's shape is a lie. There's so many categories to go down. I don't know which ones are true or not. I'm happy to entertain them though. It's very interesting and fun to think about. Won't go down that road in this video though. What I think would be wise from now on whenever you're reading articles related to disasters is looking at the timestamp. Usually they list them when they're published, and even screenshot or archive it, so you'll know if there's any time manipulation going on. Now the people in your life realize that you saw it beforehand, so I guess it wouldn't be time related, but it's still good to have an archive of these articles, because it sounds like it happens frequently enough to you that it's worth paying attention to, let's say. I'm curious really how this is happening, because if the articles really are published beforehand, you're talking to your wife and your coworker about it, it can't be time manipulation, because if it was, they wouldn't remember. So everyone is remembering. It's kind of like in the news broadcast where they were talking about the towers falling before they even fell. It's very curious. Is it just evidence that they do indeed know these events are happening? But why have journalists publish it earlier? I mean, doesn't that just give away the game? It's very odd. Unless there is alternate universe crossovers going on where you're seeing a different universe where it already happened earlier in that universe and then you're just blinking over here. I don't know. I guess that could be a possibility. Outside of that, I'm not sure. It's certainly a useful power to have. If only you could control it. You'd be Nicolas Cage in Next, who somehow still didn't see the nuclear bomb exploding. Case file number 1051, written by Artistic Feeling 826. Ghosts, Glitches, and Fog. The Unforgettable Road Trip. Confusing day trip. I'll start this by saying my mom and I are superstitious, and we believe in the paranormal and weird stuff, or things such as glitches. This happened to us yesterday, and we've told a few people, and they all think it's extremely weird and it isn't possible. My mom and I were coming back from New York. We were on the highway, and we're going to take the Mansfield exit to go through town. All of a sudden, after a weird fog that lasted maybe 10 seconds, we're on this long as hell road we don't recognize, and the next exit is Sebring. Sebring is 18 minutes away from Mansfield. Sebring is also an exit coming back from the opposite way, which is further into Pennsylvania and nowhere near the New York border. We came up on the Sebring exit as if we were headed back from the opposite side of the state. We're both trying to put it together, and the last time we remember seeing was 4:20, of course, and we were never conscious of the time until it was 6:20. A few minutes after we got off at Sebring, we got off at the Elkland exit, one of the first exits right outside of New York, before we got back on the highway towards the Mansfield exit when we went through the thick fog. I remember it because I said, "Holy crap," when I saw how thick it was. That's what she said. But our conclusion is that the fog did something to cause the glitch, and now we're just confused and missing an entire hour of our lives. To put it into perspective even further, coming back from New York, you almost immediately hit the Elkland exit. We got off there to go to a store, and we got back onto the highway so we could get off at the Mansfield exit, which is a little after the Elkland exit. In order to get to the Sebring exit, we would have had to pass 3 town exits. As I said, Sebring is 18 minutes away from Mansfield, and there is no way we could have gotten there in the span of 5 minutes. We came to the exit as if we were going back to Mansfield and Elkland. That's just impossible. We stayed on the highway, didn't make any turns or anything. It's just something really weird. Case file number 1051. Ghost Glitches and Fog. The Unforgettable Road Trip. So your point about the fog causing this glitch, I think it's related. There's a lot of stories in it that involve fog. Obviously, there's also fictional stories like The Mist, which is one of my favorite movies. I haven't read the book, I hear it's pretty good. I don't know if The Mist itself is causal, or if it's a manifestation of these weird anomalies coming in, or are these entities using the fog as cover. It makes sense if there's strange beasts or entities that can manifest fog that they would do so, because it gives them... It's almost like a smoke grenade, like Batman will launch his smoke to dip out if he needs to, or to even go into an area. You obscure the line of vision of people so they don't know what's going on. It makes perfect sense in that regard. If you're going to pull off any sort of shenanigans, you're going to want to have cover from other people's line of sight. So that all fits to me. But in terms of the anomaly itself, it's probably just a space-time warping, which does happen often and doesn't necessarily involve fog. So I don't know if in this case it's related. I think in general often it is, but in this case it's just weird coincidence. Well, I really would like to see that kind of thick fog. There's some here in North Carolina. When I'm out walking at night, it's kind of cool. It sets in just as I'm going out for a walk at like 8 or 9 p.m. Very atmospheric. Case file number 1052, written by Icosaquark. The Parking Ticket Paradox. Pre-pandemic, I traveled downtown roughly twice per week to attend technical user group events. My employer would reimburse me for parking ramp expenses, so I'd always use the nearest parking ramps available. Years ago, I had the unfortunate experience of losing a parking ticket and having to pay the full daily rate, expensive, to exit the ramp. Needless to say, it's always stuck with me, and since, I've made it a habit to always place my ramp ticket in the same place each time before exiting my vehicle, in the center console cup holders. On this particular occasion, I recalled the lost ticket, thought to myself, yep, don't want to ever go through that again, and placed the ticket into my empty cup holder. Mind you, I keep my vehicles pretty pristine. No garbage, nothing really in my car other than my sunglasses. The event ends and I head back to the car, put it in reverse and drive up to the meter to pay. Look down to grab my ticket, and it's just gone. Not there. Nothing is in my cup holder. I take a few seconds to look around, but there's nothing. By this time, people are piling up behind me. Everyone had to back up so that I could maneuver out. I pulled around and found a spot in the ramp so that I could figure out where my ticket was. Of course, it's going to be on the floor somewhere between the seat and the center console. Nope. Other side? Nope. Under the seats, purse? Nope. I know where I put it, but oddly it's just not there, and I'm starting to second guess myself. Maybe someone got in my car and took it along with other items from the center console? Nope, nothing was missing and my car was locked. So this went on for a good 10 minutes. Finally, I start screaming to the parking ticket gods and forcefully feel around my cup holder and proceed to lift up the bottom rubber mat to see if it somehow fell under or got caught in a crease. I mean, it's empty. No physical way it could have fallen in a crease because there wasn't one. It's a solid molded piece of plastic. I put the rubber mat back down and tap it in place. Defeated and wanting to give the universe a big double finger, I grab my seatbelt and proceed to buckle in for the grand payment. Look one last time at that damn cup holder, and the fucking ticket is sitting there dead center, pristine, like it's never moved, no creases, on top of that rubber mat I just tamped down. This is a 4-inch by 2-inch green ticket. What the fuck? That rocked me. I have no explanation. Case notes for file 1052, the parking ticket paradox. So this could be DOP. I think it may be a prankster spirit, though. Could be attached to you. There's quite a few of them around, I expect. I mean, they're just bored, if you ask me. The more unsettling idea is that it's a server manager that is just pranking you. So it's not a spirit, it's an actual manager, a real human being in the real world. Well, if we're human beings in the real world, maybe in the real world we're like tentacle aliens with 8 limbs, and we look more like squids or something with 8 spider eyes. I don't know about that. I hope not. I hope we're humanoids. Or, I was thinking too, if God does exist, how, in whatever manifestation, whatever religion, if God exists in one sense or another, server manager God, I'm sure he would like to prank his creation sometimes. I mean, wouldn't you if you were God? Not maliciously, but just for fun. In situations like this, make them think that they're going crazy because the ticket that they know they have isn't there, and then it just reappears. I would certainly do that. And a bit more. What would be the most devious prank? Probably switching out yogurt for mayonnaise would be one of those. I may or may not have done that at some point. And now time for the quote of the day. We accept the love we think we deserve. Stephen Chbosky. Isn't that true? Especially the friends you keep around, they're a reflection of how you think about yourself and how much you value yourself. It's one of those lines from Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, where Han speaks to this point. The friends you keep speak to a reflection of yourself and how you value yourself. If the friends around you are all negative and they never seek to improve themselves, and if they're just not a positive force to be around, they're like an anchor that you place on your own ankle and then you go jump in the ocean with them. It's not going to end well for anyone, and you can't really save people unless they want to be saved. Remember that. I hope people will learn to accept that they deserve quite a bit of love if they're good people, and most people are, deep down. Just have to choose to be. Like the video, subscribe. Kinetic Symphony signing off.